story. It may have been a very, very good story. Turning my phone off. That hasn't happened on the bench in the Supreme Court, but I was trying a jury trial once in Boone County and obviously forgot to turn my cell phone off, and we had selected the jury and it was about 10:30 and presentation of witnesses, and I'm not sure if it was direct or cross-examination. And we had a, very, very polite rule, no cell phones, turn your cell phones off. And all of a sudden, ring-a-ling-ling, the old-fashioned phone, and everybody is scrambling. And the attorneys are looking around and looking at me, they're looking at each other, and just in this panic, embarrassment. And it just dawned on me that that's in my pocket under my robe, which is a really awkward situation to be in. Not only do you have to say it's me, but then stand up, and robes don't necessarily have pockets. So it's just not a good situation. Well, welcome everyone to our first convening of the Youth Justice Oversight Committee, also known as the Juvenile Justice Oversight Committee. This is our first meeting, and welcome to everyone. My name is Steve David. I'm going to serve as your host for the duration of our existence. And we have a relatively, that's not correct. We have a very robust timetable. You have a folder in front of you. We will cover some of that, some in less detail than others. All of this will be made available to you, as we will explain to you, electronically and via the website that's being prepared. If you haven't seen the movie Top Gun Maverick, I have no interest financially in that film, but I would strongly urge you to go see that. I am not even a Navy person, and as you all know, I didn't see one Army man or Army woman or soldier in the movie, but nonetheless, I would highly recommend that. So welcome. Again, we have the agenda you've been provided with. Chief Justice Rush is unable to be here today. She sends her greetings and expresses her sincere appreciation and gratitude for your willingness to undertake this endeavor. She will meet with us, visit with us at a subsequent meeting. We are very excited to have the two principal authors of 1359. 1359 brings us here today. And we'll talk more about that later, but I want to invite Representative Wendy McNamara and Senator Mike Ryder to offer comments and words of encouragement. Representative, Senator.
First of all, this process was over 2 years in the making to get us to this day. And I know each and every one of you along the route was there with us. I'm getting a little cold chills coming up on my hairs are standing up, because today is monumental, because it signifies to me the start of monumental changes across the state of Indiana, where it means that our youth, our kids, our juveniles will finally, regardless of where they live and what access they have to this or to that, are finally going to have a system that works for them, and not works for us, but works best for them. And as sincere as I can be, thank you very, very much for your dedication and your work on this oversight committee. and your work along the way and your passion for kids. And I just look forward to all of these great changes for our state, and for our kids that are coming forward. And thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Mike Kreider. I represent Senate District 28, and I'd like to add my thanks for your participation. I think Wendy and I are both pretty good at moving legislation through the process, but words on paper don't really mean a whole lot unless you see those put into action. And this was kind of an effort that when Wendy first approached me about participating, I was like, another thing to do. But as we started digging in and looking at the research and the data in the background, and trying to figure out what the bill would even look like, or what we needed to include or exclude from the bill, you realize almost immediately the importance of what the work that you are going to now do will mean for the state. And so from the bottom of my heart also, thank you for the work that you're going to do. It's going to help not have justice by geography and all the other things that we've talked about prior to this, the roles that you play as individuals across the justice system in the state. You are the experts that are going to make this work well. And to Justice David, thank you for your willingness to step up. The Supreme Court has been on board from the very beginning and provided expertise and insight. And so we look forward to seeing what you folks do. It's time now, as I said at the last meeting, the last hearing we had, the conference committee, now it's time to get to work, because the real work starts now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to both of you and for your extraordinary leadership and vision. We will do our very best to exceed any expectations that you have for us individually and collectively. So 1359 has brought us together, understanding, of course, that we have been together, working together for some time. And this is an opportunity to broaden the collective successes, as was alluded to, eliminate justice by geography, marshal our resources. We all bring different perspectives, and we're going to do our very best to ensure that our product reflects all of those perspectives. And we'll talk more about what that might look like. So we have done some preliminary work to hopefully make your jobs, your tasks, your understanding of the work easier. And who is we? Well, that would be to some extent me. You won't see in the documentation, but I'm comfortable with, at any point in time, if there's a 2/3 vote of no confidence in me as the chair of the Oversight Committee, then have at it, okay? I see myself as really the facilitator and convener of incredible people. Leslie Dunn is from our Supreme Court family, Indiana Office of Court Services, Office of Judicial Administration. And she and her team, and I'll let her introduce that team in a moment, will be the principal staff people to support the overall Oversight Committee. And she will talk to you in more detail about our proposal for a staffing individual work groups that we're suggesting at a minimum we need to move forward with. And there's an additional a large group of people that are on board with that. Julie Whitman, raise your hand. Most of you have never met her, have never seen her. Leslie and I go back about 20 years. Shortly after you graduated from high school, I was on the trial bench, believe it or not, a trial judge with criminal, civil, family in all the counties' juvenile jurisdiction. And so that's when we first have known each other. Julie and I have known each other, well, since the establishment of the Children's Commission, and worked together. She's going to serve as liaison from the Children's Commission to this entity. And she, together with with Leslie are going to serve as my principal advisors to help me. They're non-voting members. You are all the voting members. So that's sort of the structure that we have proposed going forward, and that's how we intend to operate if that's acceptable to you. Before we get deep in the agenda, and if we accomplish nothing else, you will walk out of here before noon. All right, that's a deliverable, and I think we can do better than that being the only deliverable today. But I think we need to take an opportunity, time out for just a moment, and go around first of all the table, and then invite everybody else to at least who's present to introduce themselves and what agency they are from. But for those of you at the table, and don't worry about where I'm going to start. So let me just pick someone. So only one person needs to worry about where he's going to start. You're seated in sort of not sort of a random order. So come early to the next meeting and you can move your placard around. Otherwise, we'll just arbitrarily do that. Matt's here because I need counseling. And Terry and I are concerned that she's concerned whether I'm supposed to watch her or she's supposed to watch me. So we'll let Terry start. She's probably the most shy person in the room. And the questions are, Terry, if you tell us who you are, I think you got that. What agency you represent, what do you do? And then, and really it doesn't have to be the next two, but at least one of those is why are you interested in this work? And perhaps if you can identify, all of you, what's something, what do you want to leave here with? What's maybe an unanswered question so we can target that? And then we'll just go around. Cirilla, the pressure's on you next. And if you want to throw in something at the end, like something fun you're going to do this summer, that's always good for us to know, because there may be opportunities for us to go with you or do those things. This is important. This is important to get a handle on where we're coming from. And so would you start us off?
Sure.
The whole thing depends on you.
Gotcha. No pressure. I'm the Executive Director for Division of Youth Services for the Department of Correction. I'm going to try to remember all of my responsibilities. I have spent my entire career, I started out in law enforcement and I worked for Department of Child Services. I am passionate about children, always have been. So what I want to take away is I want us to fix what we all feel is broken. So each of us will have a different idea about what that is, I'm sure. Anyway, well, gosh, something fun. I'm going to spend the summer with, I'm a grandmother. I know that shocks you, of 6 children. So the summer will be spent with grandchildren and my sons and their beautiful wives who are putting up with my sons. And I'm a Harley rider, so I will be traveling this summer on 2 wheels. I get a bike.
There's a
I got a
phrase,
one-seater.
there's a phrase, bad something that comes to mind.
Good morning, Cirilla Blackman, Executive Director of Mental Health Services. I was just focused on youth. I now have the whole continuum from early childhood to older persons. I am with the Division of Mental Health and Addiction. What do I do? A little bit of everything. I interface with a lot of agencies, DCS, DO, JBAI, working with Justice David. The summer, what am I going to do for fun? I haven't gotten it yet. I'm sure it'll come to me later.
Good morning. My name is Kia Wright. I'm the Executive Director for Voices Corporation. We are a youth nonprofit agency in Indianapolis, provide services to young men in juvenile probation and youth in schools across the city. My background, I was an officer in Terre Haute and in Indianapolis when I moved back here. And so that's why I'm very passionate about this work. I'm just kind of really excited to be a part of it. For fun, I became obsessed with gardening during COVID, and now I'm obsessed with canning. So my whole canner my husband got me.
I'm Devin McDonald. I'm the executive director at the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute. As far as what I do, I just make sure all my people have what they need to do the great things that they do. That's about it, really, as far as that goes. Why I'm here, obviously, you know, we have a large part to play in the implementation of everything in the reform from the funding perspective. But I also feel like this is a great stage for us, as Representative McNamara said, to really make some change for youth in Indiana. You know, in my opinion, a lot of it starts there. And as we move forward and kind of the way things are right now, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's a lot of kids that need a lot of help. I think this is going to be a great platform to really start that effort and really get things done. I'm not doing anything super fun as gardening and canning this summer. So that's about it, just hanging out.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Good morning. My name is Darren Dolahanty, and I'm a juvenile court judge in Wayne County, Indiana. Richmond's our county seat, and also currently the president of the Judges Association. So that's one of the roles that I'll fill hopefully for this committee as well. My tenure on the bench has been not just juvenile court, but beyond juvenile court with other parts of the docket. But juvenile court's been the driver for me to stay on the bench and keep raising my hand and asking to be elected again, re-elected again is a more appropriate term. And our code, and Representative McNamara and I have talked in passing in the past about our code's long overdue for restructuring, and this is a great first step in that regard. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. As far as the summer is concerned, I know what my plans look like. My wife's plans for me look a little different. Started what I call staging what the summer's going to look like, because the rototiller came out of the shed and the power washer mysteriously appeared directly in front of my vehicle this morning. I think there's work to be done beyond what I had in store.
I come to the judge's house.
Everyone could please use the microphones. Feel free to move them.
I don't speak really loud, so please let me know if I'm talking too low. My name is James Wilson, and before I go into a little bit about what I do and all this stuff, this is very important to me. I am a proud representative of the system, and I'm not saying proud in a way that, hey, I'm excited about it, what I once was and now who I am. Been in and out of incarceration, 10 years old till 17 charged as an adult, 17 to 26. I was incarcerated. So to see opportunities really at the table for me, this is overwhelming. This is definitely historical and well overdue. I own an organization called Circle Up Indy. We are very strong in economic development. We put money back into the community. And one of our key focus that we're working on right now is to bring a form of innovative housing to Indianapolis and to the state of Indiana. It's never been done before. It's definitely historical, bringing 3D printed homes to Indianapolis. So it's extremely awesome. And so I love giving back to the community. I love getting involved. I love being different, and I love thinking outside the box. And so my plans this summer is trying to keep all three of my boys from driving me crazy. So.
Of Allen Superior Court Family Relations Division. My caseload is pretty much kids from birth through emancipation. So I deal with dissolutions, pretty much everything in family law with the exception of chin. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm really excited to see an opportunity to take all of that state.
Penguins or yard work at Judge Gullihan's.
Morning, I'm Nancy Weaver, and I'm the director of the Juvenile Detention Alternatives Initiative for Indiana. Our team lives within the Office of Court Services under the Indiana Supreme Court. My why of why this work is important is what some others have said, is I see this as a huge opportunity for our youth, particularly in the area of equity. There's a couple of words in the legislation that talk about equity, and that is a foundation of our work. And I see an opportunity to move this forward, not only as Representative McNamara mentioned justice by geography, and also Senator Kreider mentioned that, but in terms of race equity and everything related to equity for our young people. My unanswered question is really but how our work, our current work intersects and intertwines with the work of 1359, so our current work in JDAI in the 36 counties that are implementing it. My fun stuff for the summer is absolutely nothing fun. I have 13 and 14-year-old boys, and all I do is run them around to baseball and summer school and basketball and all their things. So I might welcome some yard work.
I'm Shannon Chambers. I am the training coordinator for Johnson County Court Services, as well as the coordinator for our crisis intervention team in Johnson County within the Sheriff's Department. I am really excited about this because 23 years ago, when I became a juvenile probation officer, I said, I'm going to change the world one kid at a time. That was my goal. So 23 years later, I'm very honored to be sitting here. My fun thing is I have a 15-year-old that plays travel ball, so that's what I do.
Leslie?
Good morning. I'm Leslie Dunn. I'm the Deputy Director of Children and Families at Indiana Office of Court Services, formerly the State CASA Director. I know many of you from that capacity, and in the last year in this new position. I'm looking forward to building on the great work that we've already done in this area and making a better system for kids. And this summer I will be gardening. I keep buying more and more flowers all the time. Walmart has them 50% off. So I came home with another big, huge truckload of them, and now I have to plant them. So yeah, I'll probably be gardening. And also I have a lot of peaches. So I may be bringing peaches because I picked 2 big bushels of peaches this weekend. So, and all right here, I just want to say in this front row, our staff from our office who are going to be supporting our work. Justice David's law clerk is right there in the corner, Colleen, and Joseph and Nick right here are on our team, are going to be helping. And Sheena is on my team, and Michelle Goodman is one of our supervisors. She'll be working with screening, and Colleen Saylor is also in the family team. So we'll all be working to help support you.
Did you all know that? If not, the door's locked, so don't, thank you. Julie?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Julie Whitman. I'm the Executive Director of the Commission on Improving the Status of Children. It's so excited, like everyone, to kind of see this moment arrive and anticipate everything that's going to be coming. For me, it's just always about what's good for kids and how do we simplify and to the extent that we can, and just do what's right for kids. So that's what keeps me going every day in this work and everything else that the commission does. In a couple of weeks, I will be taking my Girl Scout troop camping in Ohio and going to Cedar Point. So that's my fun thing.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tracy Fitz. I'm the Juvenile Delinquency Resource Prosecutor with the Indiana Prosecuting Attorneys Council. And I've been with them about 3 years. Before that, I spent my entire career prosecuting juveniles in Marion County and Hamilton County. I did go up to big boy court for a while, but my first love is juvenile court. I think it has a lot to do with the hopefulness, even in some tough situations that court has. And so my why for being here is just to make sure that opportunity is always there for improvement in the system, and making sure there's justice for kids, but also reminding people, as I often do in these meetings, that we have victims and others in the system that need the opportunity for justice too. So it's kind of meeting both of those together. Oh, and my fun thing for the summer, I just got back from Hilton Head where it's very hot, very hot. So one afternoon when it was about 103, we went to a nice cold theater and Maverick Top Gun was great.
I know most of you. I'm Joel Winnicky. I'm a staff attorney with the Indiana Public Defender Council. In 1994, I learned how overwhelming it can be to be in police custody when you're a kid. You guys don't get all the details here, but I did disclose when I became a lawyer. Along the way, somebody accidentally let me into law school, and then I took on a PD contract that I did not know had a component of representing kids in court until I showed up for court and they said, here are your juvenile clients. So I had to learn on the fly. It was a bit overwhelming, but I got through it with some help from the Public Defender Council back then, and probably a little too much gusto to fully know and understand what I didn't know at the time. But I'm very glad to be here. I focus on youth justice for the Public Defender Council, if I didn't say that earlier. So the fun thing for this summer is my 9-year-old son has caught the fishing bug. So I have a new fishing partner, and he is currently out fishing me. The weekend before last, he caught 15 fish in one night. And I think I caught about 6.
Impressive.
Stephen Balco. I am the Director of School Safety with the Indiana Department of Education. As part of those responsibilities, we take a look at discipline, school-based arrests. So I'm really excited what we're doing with schools and keeping kids in the classroom. One thing about me, I have no more money to travel. I have 6-month-old twin girls, so I'll be and a 4-year-old. So I'll be doing nothing but sitting at home watching them grow and laugh and loving every minute of that. So.
I've been on the juvenile court bench for 17 years now, so that's my passion. I saw that we're supposed to be informed by experiences of youth and families, and then Mr. is like in her 20s and she's weeping this day. That's how I spend every summer.
In Clark County, I've been on the bench in circuit court for about 15.5 years. It's the exclusive juvenile court, so we do chins and delinquency, and that's been my passion, as Faith said, in my private practice. When I got there, and that it will sustain after I'm gone. My husband's decided we're going to sell our 6-bedroom, 3.5-bath house that's only me and him and our daughter, and retirement in 2.5 years, and wants to downsize now because he plans to move to Europe. And
Do you know where you are moving to in Europe? That's
there's no winter. And the other move that I'm doing is moving my sister back from Colorado back to Indiana. Her back, and I'm seeing Maverick tonight. Got tickets already. So.
Morning, everyone. My name is Terry Stigdon, and I am the State Director for the Department of Child Services, and I am also a nurse and worked in pediatrics for almost 20 years, right before coming here. I would say that my passion and what I hope to get out of this is there is a lot of overlap between juvenile justice and CHINS. And I am looking forward to establishing some clarity so that we are all working our best for children that we work with and their families. And I would say I just came back from vacation a little bit ago and spent some time with my only grandchild. But for fun, I love canning and have already canned 2 cases of peaches. And so Kia, I'm happy to give you some hints. And Judge Dolahany, I may need to borrow that rototiller because my fun activity is to build a greenhouse and a chicken coop this summer. So I'm working on becoming a homesteader. So.
My name's Nicole Phillips. I'm with Bartholomew County Juvenile Probation. I'm the Assistant Director of Juvenile Probation.
Where are you from?
Bartholomew County. And Justice David, I don't think it was random that you put DCS and probation right next to each other.
It's good for you.
Terry and I can do.
Solve
do well
problems.
together. About juvenile justice, I have been probation officer for 24 years. I served 6 years in Brown County as juvenile probation officer before coming back to Bartholomew County. And as a probation officer, I have seen how one child can be treated one way in one county and the same way in the county next door, or differently in the county next door. And that is really frustrating because I know that kids deserve better. So I am here to help that happen. My fun thing this summer is I have a 15-year-old son. He's my youngest. He's my baby. And I just drive him around. And he's at the fair right now in Bartholomew County. So I'm headed there after here to help him get ready for his cow show tomorrow.
My name is Marshall Broadwell, and I'm the judge in Marion. That's one of our 5 family courtrooms in Marion County. I'm also the chair of the family division. My interest in this committee is Marion County started a big project in 2020 of creating a family division. We didn't have a family division before. So for our old juvenile division and even the criminal division to be part of the family division with the goal of not having one traumatic incident happen with the family, then a child and their family appear in front of 4 or 5 different judges and have 2 or 3 different sets of lawyers and so on. Worked on that project and are still working on that project with National Center for State Court. So innovation and improved processes with respect to children. And as far as fun stuff, I'm also a canner as well. And I will be spending all of this month getting ready for the Indiana State Fair. I exhibit at the Indiana State Fair every year.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Matt Alsbaugh is my name. I'm a professor at the IU School of Medicine. I direct the Adolescent Behavioral Health Research Program. So we do a lot of work on adolescent behavioral health, and I've collaborated with many of you for the past 15 or 20 years on juvenile justice improvement projects. I'm super happy to be here. And my why is I grew up in a small rural farming community in Wisconsin. I had multiple interactions with police officers and I was never arrested. I think that's because the privilege that I had of knowing people, of my past are being called, of the color of my skin, so that really motivates me. And I recently went back to Waupun, Wisconsin, so that was kind of my fun trip. And I grew up with lots of canning and I would never do it, so good job.
Kay Hudson was obviously scheduled to be here. Fortunately for her, she's on vacation. Unfortunately for us, she didn't invite anybody other than her family. If you knew where she was going, you'd be really aggravated with her. So I'll let you deal with that. I think everybody else is accounted for. And again, thank you for taking the time to tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the questions you would like to have answered today. Some we can, some we won't, but we will continue to work on that. Take a moment and just absorb, look around the room. From my perspective, which is not unusual. You are all the talented people. I'm seeing people with tremendous perspectives, more experience, more talented than myself. This group, if we can't take what hopefully we believe is a good system in Indiana, much better than many other places, and do better for our children, if we can't do that, if we can't deliver a product to the Children's Commission, if we can't deliver recommendations, suggestions to our legislative friends, if we can't make some positive changes in best practices, in collaboration between individual agencies, offices within agencies, then I don't think anybody can. And we can't fail. And we won't fail together. So continue to bring and share to the extent you're comfortable, your trepidations, your anxiety. Oh, I'm from this agency. I don't think anybody likes me. I've been dealing with that in my little head my whole life. And I'm old enough now to go, why was I worried about that? You know, just be the best version of me, and which is the best I can do. I'm Steve David. My summer is retiring. If you don't have anything else to do, retire from the court one summer. But I'm not dying. I don't have an illness that's making me step. So what are the other rumors? This is my hair. Do you think I would pay for this? That's just so you don't have to worry about that. I'd take a loan and get better hair if I could. You know, I had this quote years ago and I've never used it because a lot of things I say aren't very good. But I'll share it with my friends. And that's really what we want to reestablish and emphasize today. We have a lot of work today to do, but we have to understand we are in this together. And don't be afraid of what we don't know. Don't be afraid to offer suggestions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to get involved with our suggested work groups. Some of you have volunteered to chair those groups. But we want you to be informed. You will be the critical stakeholders in crafting, approving, modifying, whatever, our product. So this quote is, anyone can make a buck. But if you make change, you can make a real difference. I know it's bad. but 90% of the stuff I come up with is bad. My background is serving you on the Supreme Court. I was probably 11 or 12 when I decided for certain to go to law school. And there were a lot of contributing factors. I didn't think I'd get dirty, my hands dirty. But my friends and I were riding our bikes one day in rural Ogleville, and we stopped because we were 12 or 13-year-old boys, and there was a bridge. Let's go under the bridge and see what's under the bridge, because there's a creek. And there were 3 boxes under this bridge. And we opened up the boxes because that's what you do. And there were shoulder pads. Loved to play football in our front field. So we took all these shoulder pads back to my house, and we promptly played football out in the front field with these shoulder pads. Of course, my mother came out, what are you doing? Where these shoulder pads come from? We found them under a bridge. The law of property, they're ours. So she did what all moms do, call the police. So the police came out and they were very professional, but I was intimidated and I wasn't accused, but I was accused. We were accused of stealing the shoulder pads. And so that was my first self-representation issue. I ran for judge in Boone County in 1994 because I wanted to make a difference with kids. And that continues to be why I'm here and why all of you are here. So thank you again. And to the 6.5 million people in the state of Indiana, thank you. Most importantly, to that 1.5 million that are under the age of 18, We cannot, right, save all the starfish, but that shouldn't prevent us from doing better. So we welcome the charge from our legislative friends, and we are up to the task collectively. You have in your materials the draft vision statement in your folder, and Leslie, does somebody have an extra that they could share with Representative McNamara and Senator Kreider? They can have my binder or my folder. This is a draft. It is for your consideration. We do not have to take action on this today if anyone's uncomfortable doing so. But what we try to do is provide to you a summary of the expectations, taking the legislation and via a team, put together the highlights of the requirements. And then from that, distill that down into a draft vision statement for your review. To make improvements to Indiana's juvenile justice system, that, I'll let you read that. And these improvements will come initially through the work to fulfill the requirements of House Enrolled Act 1359, 2022, which include the developing. Now, upon the 13th or 14th time of reviewing this, I'm thinking, Steve David, maybe it should be enhancing / developing or developing / enhancing, because, right, we want to recognize where we are. I don't know if that makes a big difference, but this is something we're hoping that we would embrace as our vision statement. Some simple principles to guide us. And the last paragraph, the Youth Justice Oversight Committee acknowledges that much excellent work has already been done throughout Indiana in alignment with these principles through the Juvenile Detention Alternatives Initiative and other efforts. That's other efforts, that's other entities, that's collaborating entities, that's every one of you and who you represent. And maybe for your consideration as we go forward, are we missing somebody that should be here? Or are we missing somebody that should be on the work groups, or are we missing a work group, right? We've tried to do in this process and talking to our friends in the legislature and many of you is to make some of this work as easy as possible for you, so you get to make decisions and not do some of the heavy lifting. And we've got experts and dedicated people to do that heavy lifting with us. So that's the Youth Justice Oversight Committee draft vision statement. I'm not going to go through the expectations. I believe you have the expectation or the summary of expectations in your materials. That is a committee effort. It's not something that we need to vote on or anything like that, but we wanted you to have that. And perhaps at the next meeting or via email, we can discuss that. It doesn't need to be approved. If I misspeak, Leslie, Julie, let me know, but I do not think it needs to be approved. But it lays out sort of a summary of the legislation and the roles of the different entities, the friendly request, the ask, the deliverables. So that is for your consideration and use. And then we have the draft of vision statement. I would sort of like to give you a moment to look at that. And if there is if there are any questions about that or any recommended changes to that, if you're comfortable and you believe it's important to have a collaborative consensus vision statement, and this is acceptable to you, and you're prepared to vote on today, that's great. If not, and you want additional time to review this, reflect upon it, share some suggestions, recommendations, that's fine too. And we'll just put that on the agenda for the next meeting. It's totally up to you. Any thoughts? Comments? Anybody want to be the first one in the minutes? Yes, sir.
I will. On the vision statement, I think it needs to be a little bit more heavy hitting and
A little bit more what, sir?
I think it needs to be a little bit more heavy hitting, more directional, of what our strong outcomes will be, what we want it to look like, more of an innovative stance. We speak of innovation, but it doesn't really outline innovation. It looks more like a working outline. And so kind of shake it up a little bit. It makes sense. Can you hear me?
I heard you.
Okay, thank you, Julie. She's like, James, you're talking so.
A little bit more detail, a little bit more outcomes.
Yeah, make sure it's a little bit more directional. So when people read the vision statement, it's not just, it doesn't sound systematic. It sounds like it's appealing and we're heartfelt. That makes sense?
Makes sense. Thank you. Other comments, suggestions?
I really liked your idea. Enhancing.
Developing / enhancing. Let me ask you this. Do we have 1 or 2 or 3 volunteers that want to work with Leslie and Julie and Steve David to revise this just a bit and send it to you in advance of the next meeting? Would that be the best use of our time? Thank you, Stephen. Well, you're already on it. I know. Raise your hand, you volunteer.
I didn't even know why I was thinking raising it, right?
But I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Terry. All right. Anyone else? Yeah, wonderful. Good. Well, what we will do is have a Zoom or a live or something, and we'll get you, not this week, but something, a revised draft so that you can comment on it. And so we may reach a resolution before the next meeting, but we can put that on an agenda item for the next meeting. Is that, yes, ma'am. Nancy Weaver, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. If we are not part of that small group, but we do have some feedback, could we send it to those on the small group?
Send it to Leslie.
Thank you.
She'll get it to the rest of us, or her team will, and thank you. That's, yeah, this is hopefully an 80, 85, 90, 95% solution. But again, in an effort to minimize your time in the details. So we thought, you've got the agenda, those of you that are read aheaders. We're going to talk about how did we get here. Julie's going to give us a presentation. And then what are we to do? I'm going to circle back and pick up sort of a flyover of what the anticipated plan is, so that you have that idea. And then Leslie is going to talk about how we will function, what the suggested structure is. And we have one potential action item for your consideration today. And then hopefully we will have answered some of your questions, but not all of them. And then we'll close, wrap up and let you get on with your day. Be thinking about, is this a good location or is there a better location? Because we'll need to make that decision. This is probably going to be our default place, but that's not a bad thing. And let's be honest. Okay, I'll be honest. Do we want to have a box lunch at the end, or do we want to move these meetings from 11 to 1? You know, we have some flexibility, but our default's going to be 10 to noon. We're trying to be mindful, but we're open to what works best for you. And, you know, are you leaving this meeting and you've got 15 things to do? And so if you had a box lunch, leave me alone so I can catch up with the world. We need to know that. Okay. And we'll try to accommodate you. Or some of you want that, some of you don't. We will do that. So that's the overview. Julie, do you want to hopefully answer this question that nobody posed because they know why, how we got here? But if you'd like to. And Representative McNamara, Senator Kreider, if there's anything anyone says at any time, or regardless, if anything you want to add at any time, please, you've got the floor, obviously, to do that. I want to include you.
So I'm just going to take a moment on logistics before I jump into this, and I promise it will be brief. Most of you were involved, so I'm not going to belabor the history, but the importance of the microphones, I just want to say, is not only for inside this room, but we're also webcasting this meeting. And so the microphones are directly connected to the machines that are sending this out to the universe. And so if you don't speak directly into the mic, people who are watching online cannot hear you at all, even if we can. So please pull it close to you when you're going to speak. Okay. That's my PSA. Also, if you need your parking validated or you need mileage reimbursement, please make sure you see Sheena if you haven't yet before you leave. Okay. How do we get here? So just a quick.
You missed the no public display of affection. It's always part of those logistics.
So there's kind of 3 stages to this work. And again, I just want to kind of reiterate that last paragraph of the vision statement, acknowledging that this work didn't really start in 2017, right? It's been going on for a very, very long time. And there's been a lot of people working hard to improve juvenile justice for youth in Indiana. But this sort of specific project actually goes back to late 2017, early 2018, when the Office of Judicial Administration, as well as the Children's Commission, were approached by 2 different national entities, Council of State Governments, Justice Center, and the Pew Charitable Trust, which also has some youth justice work, to say, hey, we'd love to help Indiana do a top-to-bottom review of your juvenile justice system. And there were a lot of conversations that were had. I don't know if Judge Dolahanty, Judge Graham, you remember, we had a meeting with the JJIC to talk about this. Is this something we want in Indiana, or is it not? Lots of conversations. Sort of ultimately said, okay, well, let's work with Pew. They seem like, you know, they would be good to work with, and we were kind of ready to go. And then Pew decided they were going to work with Pennsylvania, so that didn't happen. And then the summer of 2019, Representative McNamara please correct me if I'm misspeaking, attended a juvenile justice conference put on by CSG Justice Center, connected there with them, and we kind of restarted that conversation with CSG. And so in February of 2020, Representative McNamara came to the Children's Commission and said, let's create this juvenile justice task force to work with CSG and do a review of our system. And that happened. So that was all the prelude, right? And then we had phase 1 of the work with CSG that kicked off in September of 2020. So of course, everybody knows what was happening in 2020. So all of this work was done virtually. We were able to get some support from the Lilly Endowment for that initial phase of work with CSG, which was kind of it was just a preliminary assessment, right? And so they went around the state, they virtually went around, did some interviews, did some focus. They talked to most of you, folks in different communities and different professional groups. And they also talked to data people at the state level and at the county level to try to get a handle on what does our data even look like, right? Or do we even have data that we can analyze? So that was all the preliminary assessment, wrapped up in April 2021, and presented their findings to the Juvenile Justice Reform Task Force. Again, that was co-chaired by Representative McNamara and Senator Kreider. Right at that time, the state was developing its budget, and Senator Kreider was able to advocate for some funding in there to continue that work with CSG. And so that took us into phase 2, which has been basically the last year. In summer of 2021, CSG worked out data sharing agreements with some counties as well as some state entities. And we're able to pull in actual case level data, de-identified of course, but case level data to start looking more deeply at what was going on in the system. We had 4 work groups going, front end, services, out of home placement, and data, I think, were those groups. Again, starting to look at what is our data telling us and what are some things that we think we can do better on. And that's makes sense for Indiana, that's feasible for Indiana. So that work happened throughout last fall. Those recommendations were brought to the Juvenile Justice Reform Task Force in December. And even at that final meeting of the task force, there were continuing to be conversations and changes made, got to a final consensus set of recommendations that the task force adopted and then also presented to the Children's Commission. They were unanimously endorsed at the commission as well. And those recommendations became the substance of 1359. And so that's what leads us here today. So just wanted to let you know, if you were not part of that work, kind of, you know, the kind of on-ramp that was created over the last 2 years. And if you were, maybe just a quick reminder. And if you're interested in digging in a little bit more, all those resources are on the Children's Commission website. I can send out this link, but if you go to the Children's Commission website and look at committees and task forces and go to the Juvenile Justice Reform Task Force, it has all the PowerPoints that CSG did with their findings. We have recordings of the meetings, the recommendations, all of that is there for you. So the history is available. You have the background, and now we can move on to what are we doing now?
Thank you, Julie. Any questions of Julie, any comments? Some of you have been here forever, and some of you not forever. Thank you. Thank you very much. So we're back to me, unfortunately for you. What are we to do? And we put these materials in your folder. We sent these to you electronically. We'll follow up and post these on a website that Leslie will talk about. But what I wanted to share with you or spend a few moments on, again, maybe not 30,000 feet, but 5,000 or 10,000 feet. And that are several things, one of which is the executive summary that I alluded to earlier that you have, which is the summary of expectations garnered from the legislation itself. And I'm just going to highlight a few of those at the risk of not highlighting others that are just as important. All are critical. But if you look at the first 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bullet points, numbers, develop a plan to collect and report statewide juvenile justice data that includes a number of factors. You may decide there's some additional, right? But this is sort of our charge. This is where some of you and what you've been doing have made tremendous strides. And if you go outside the state of Indiana, you will find, unfortunately, to a great extent, a dearth of much work in this. But this is one of our huge opportunities. It's a significant challenge, but it's a huge opportunity. 2 is review and establish statewide procedures, policies, and an implementation plan related to the use of a validated risk screening tool, validated risk and needs assessment tool, detention tool. We have those operating in many different places and have had a great success in that. But can we improve upon that? Can we come up with something that is statewide and in use and being developed and being validated on an ongoing basis? Develop a plan to determine how information from the tools is compiled and shared, with whom the information will be shared, right? So we have a collective interest. And we may have individual interests for some of that data for various positive uses. A statewide plan, I'm not going to address everything, to address the provisions of broader behavioral health services, right? We can and must do better. The plan criteria for diagnostic assessments is DOC and via telehealth. What we've done in the past, we may have done very well out of necessity, but can we do better? Can we do better? Develop policies, protocols, and statewide implementation plan to guide the provisions of transitional services for a child who is awarded the Department of Correction. Establish policies and protocols for research-based pretrial diversion and formal adjustment. Develop and submit a plan for juvenile diversion and community alternatives grant programs. That's a bold undertaking. I think there was a question about how do we combine what's being done in a good way. I think that's part of our challenge. Where do we have overlap? Where do we have things that we've never really had a chance to discuss the yin and yang? What's good for you is not so good for me. And we need to understand that maybe I need to do a couple of more things, but that helps all of us understand that big picture. Judicial conference. And, you know, the great work is already being done with our probation standards. So it's how do we benefit from that work and include that work in our report? And how do we elevate that, enhance that? What can we do to help? And so that's one group we haven't established as of yet. And we want to work with our friends on the Probation Standards Committee because we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We want to help improve the wheel, so to speak, and what we can do. So you can read the judicial conference, Office of Judicial Administration, what the plan is there, or the ask or the requirements. Criminal Justice Institute, Department of Corrections. Everyone has a role, whether you're named or not. Some of you that are named might be a little bit more nervous about your role. Some of you that aren't, or your constituent that isn't, you may be a little concerned. But my goal is to make this collective, collaborative. And we'll talk about as we go on, and you will inform and you will influence and you will decide what this report looks like, you know, the actual substance of the report and how it's put together. We'll have the staffing and the expertise to do that. And we'll have to decide such things as, do we have minority reports? Do we have the ability to say, hey, you know, here's something from a constituent that's all in on all of this, but here's a practical solution or problem that needs to be solved. And here's some recommendations. And we may not all agree on those recommendations. But I think that's the conversation we need to have as what this is going to look like, so that the people that review this have the best information and they know where to go to get additional information, and help them decide what they want to do, help the courts decide what it wants to do, help our judges decide how they're going to handle this, all of you, not wanting to leave anyone out. Those of you that wear the black robe on occasion, don't panic when you see the juvenile court local responsibilities. You know, as a trial judge many years ago, it was like, okay, another to do, another to do, another to do, another to do. And I'm not going to lie to you, this is another to do for all of us. And it will translate hopefully into understandable and make sense and best practice and more to do's for everybody, but might eliminate or limit some of the other currently being done, right? And this is all about being better. We have some to-dos in order to get to where we can say we are to be better. And sometimes you have to do that to-do list to get to that to-be list. So those are those, and then section on diversion, some suggestions, some plans, some requests, some requirements for how can we do diversion better, understanding what we don't want to do, right, is push here and increase over here. And all of you have had that experience, right, where it's and maybe take it away from what we do for a living. Have you ever during the COVID period felt as if the person that is serving you wherever they are is just interested in moving you from where you are to the next station, not necessarily solving your problems, but solving their problems, right? And so we have to be cognizant of that and work together to minimize that. So that's the highlighting the points of the executive summary. And we would ask you to take this with you. If you have questions, email us. We'll put those on the agenda. We have no secrets among ourselves. We also have provided to you pretty much extrapolated from the legislation, the Youth Justice Oversight Committee timeline. A spoiler alert, this is not a 5-year. You don't have the timeline?
Yeah, I don't.
There. To solve the
Hey, let me
question
look
of
in here.
You're supposed to, here, you can have this one. There you go. So we set forth the proposed timeline. There's not a lot of wiggle room in this. Certainly, we will do what we need to do in what you want us to do. But it's an aggressive timeline. And that's why we've been trying to do some background work with assistance of many of you to really get us jump started. But we will rest assured, we have a commitment of the resources. So if we have your commitment to assist us, we can do this. We can do this. I think most of you know, but if you don't, and this could be good news or bad news, my role on this oversight committee will not change once I retire. Okay, I will continue to chair this unless you get that 2/3 no confidence vote. And I will be here live for the meetings. This is my number one priority in retirement, or excuse me, in my next chapter. Okay, so everything else is going to be secondary to this. And I made that commitment to the chief and to my friends back there and to all of you. So that's my commitment to you, but that's an aggressive timeline. And we all know why, right? Because we need to move forward and a lot of work's been done. And part of this process will be to capture, showcase, bring that on board. So that's the timeline I wanted to make you aware of. And again, please take that if you have strong suggestions, concerns, fears. Can we arrange counseling? Okay, good. We have that. But seriously, this is it's doable. It is doable. If you see the movie Top Gun, or when you see the movie Top Gun, you will appreciate timelines. And we're not giving you a 2 minutes and 30-second window to complete the mission. Okay. And you don't have to do 10 Gs or anything like that. We've got a great team. What we have done for your consideration, and you can suggest changes to this, and it is a work in progress, but taking the legislation, taking the executive summary, putting some really smart heads together, we have come up with, at present time, a data work group, a transitional services work group, a diversion work group, a behavioral health work group, a screening and assessment work group, and a grants processes work group. And you have a handout which identifies those work groups that we are launching. And many of you had input into this that really tracks the legislation. There's no great secret here. We've held up on the probation standards because we want to work with and enhance and raise up the work that is being done there. But we want to be remain true, remain fidelity to our charge. A lot of names were talked about. The good news is we narrowed that, and everybody that was targeted, I mean, everyone that we hoped would say yes, said yes. So you can see on this handout, the work groups, you can see the chair, and you can see the name of the co-chair. No one on this seriously was voluntold. Everybody is volunteered. We will provide staffing to every work group. So nobody on the work group, such as yourselves or anybody that is recruited by the chairs or suggested by you, will have to serve in a staff function. We have those individuals identified for every work group. Some of you are on work groups. Some of you have full-time jobs. We want your expertise. We do not want you worried about doing staffing. The good news is the people that are staffing bring expertise too, but they're going to be staffing primarily. So that you're free to be, and be honest and provide insight. So those are our chairs, our co-chairs. We have communicated with every chair, every co-chair, who's a chair or co-chair that happens to be on the oversight. They're being paid double. It's double nothing. And they get twice as many cars as the chair gets, okay, which is 0 times 2. But thank you. If any of you want to participate in a work group and haven't thought about that, or maybe haven't been spoken to about that, then let us know. And we will share with you all of this information. You may have some of you that are interested in being a part of a work group at any level, we will make it clear to the work groups that if there's something they need that they don't have, if there's a need for information, data, if there's something somebody else can do, if there's a presentation, if there's a report, if there's something from the National Center for State Courts, CGS, or CSG, Casey, David and David, you know, Bartholomew County, Johnson County, any entity that they'll have that ability. And if there's a need for some funding, we will do our very best to get that taken care of. And we may be having some communication among agencies. Look, you all think this is a good thing to do. Are you supportive? Do you have a couple of dollars for this? Do you have a couple of dollars for this? We'll put this together. And I think that's to your point. And I think that's the critical function of having a dedicated staff to help be that hub. Julie and Leslie and I will do our best to be on every one of those orientations for the work group. And I will do my best to join remotely, if not live, every work group meeting. Not to be a part of the work group, but just to be present, even virtually, and just be able to listen and so it can all be. But we will, our goal is to have a very, very robust communications system so that your day jobs and your second day job and your third day job and your fourth day job doesn't, this is not the straw that breaks the camel's back. So that's what we need to cover on that. We're having orientation The main priority between now and our next meeting is to get our work groups, the chairs oriented, get those work groups populated. As soon as the work group chairs say, okay, this is who I'm contacting, this is who says yes, we'll share with you, FYI, these are the tentative people that the work group chair, co-chair are seeking for their work group. You know, if you want to communicate, fine, but wait until somebody contacts them, whatever that their plan is. And then by our next meeting, one of the agenda items will be, here's where we are on all that, okay? And go from there. Questions about that? Hopefully that answers a few questions that you didn't share, like, okay, what's next, or how's this going to look like? What's this going to look like going forward? So, wow. You may have to stay a few more hours. No, I'm just kidding. It's a lot of information. But thank you, Julie. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, IOCS, OJA. Thank you, Colleen. Colleen's my legal advisor through the end of August. And not only we are doing opinions and doing this and that, it's like, hey, I need you to get involved in this. So thank you very much. She is amazing. So what I'd like to do, answer any questions, we certainly can endeavor to do that, is I'm going to turn over to Leslie Dunn to give you maybe a little bit more information than you might even want today, but it's necessary about how we will function and to make sure that's acceptable to you. Leslie?
Thank you, Justice David. I'm going to try to keep this plane flying in the right direction and make sure we arrive on time. And I think that's my goal. I'm not quite sure yet where we're going, but we're all going to figure that out together. So I do know that the Office of Judicial Administration is going to provide staffing for both this oversight committee as well as each work group. And we've talked internally about that and identified staff and backup staff who are going to be in those roles. And we are going to be providing orientation for the work group chairs. And we will be letting the work group chairs know which staff are going to be supporting your work group, but they will do things like create the agenda for your work group meetings in conjunction with you, do the minutes for your work group meetings and provide those to you. They can also help set up the meetings, make sure we comply with the public access laws, those type of things. So the staff will help you with those type of logistical issues. We are also creating for you a Teams site. How many of you are familiar with Teams? Everybody, most of you? Okay. Well, we're going to create a Teams site.
Are those softball teams or baseball teams, traveling teams?
Microsoft Teams,
okay.
Not near as exciting. But Joseph actually Fisher, who's one of our attorneys, is setting up that site for you. And we're going to have basically a oversight committee team site. And then underneath it, we will have a subcategory or folder for each work group where we'll keep minutes and the agenda, and we can keep files. It's a way, if you haven't worked with Teams, it's a way to communicate. And it's also a way to keep your work. You can chat about work. You can keep your files there, all of those type of things. If you don't know how to use Teams, I was looking at this last night. There are a bunch of really good tutorials online. If you want more information, there's one as short as 10 minutes, and then there's longer ones. But if you just go to Google and search Teams tutorials, there's some really good tutorials out there if you want to learn more about it in your spare time instead of canning. I'm sure you might want to do that. So, but that's available out there if you want to do that. We're hoping that will help move the work forward too, to have that place to communicate and keep our work and keep us on track so we can meet our deadlines. So we will be doing the orientations later in July and working connecting you with the staff. Chairs who are here will connect you with the staff who will be working with you. We are also, we have a website already. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but we set up a website. If you go to indiana.gov/courts, that's the Supreme Court's website. You can easily find it by just putting in the search bar, Youth Justice Oversight.
We'll send everybody a link.
Yes, we will send you the link. And you can find it. And on that, we have the link to watch the meetings live. So if you have constituents, people in your community, whoever that want to watch, the link will be there. That's where we put the public notice, and we'll put the notice for these meetings and the work group meetings. That's where the meeting materials are. So all of that will also be there for public access purposes. So that's available now. This committee is subject to the open door laws, and that means that we have to schedule and conduct meetings in a way that enhances public access and understanding of the meetings. And so what this basically means is that we have to give public notice, which is why we'll put it on our website. We also post it 48 hours ahead of time outside the room, and we posted it at the State House, and the work groups will have to follow that protocol as well. So you have to post notice. And then the second piece is that if we want to allow people to participate in this meeting or other meetings by an electronic means like Zoom, we have to have a policy. So the public access laws require us to have a policy on that. And those statutes pretty much tell you what that policy has to say. There's not a whole lot of
See,
wiggle
those
room.
legislators are making it easy for us.
Yes, thank you. So we took what the statute says and some other sample electronic policies. We looked at the Children's Commission policy as well as some other OJA policies like this, and created a policy for you that outlines the requirements for electronic participation by members of the committee. So even for our next meeting, we have to have this in place if anybody wants to participate electronically. We hope you will be here live, because one of the rules is we have to have no more than 9 people at any time can attend the meeting electronically. So at least 50% of the people have to be here physically. That's part of what that law says. That's one of the statutory requirements. So hopefully everybody can be here. If you can't be here, we're asking you to notify either Justice David or me. We'll let you know specifically who you should notify so that we can give you a Zoom link, and also so that we can know how many people want to be remote, so we make sure we have a quorum. We do have to have a quorum physically present. So that's why we have to have no more than 9 people who are remote. Like I said, the work groups will have to comply with this, so they will also need a policy like this. They can simply adopt, the work groups can one exactly like this if they choose. The only thing that would be different is the numbers. You have to have a majority present, and that may not be 9 people. For us, that's 9 people. But so that's just something we have to do to comply with the public access laws. So what I would propose, if everyone is in agreement, if you want to take a look at this, and if we want to allow this for future meetings and you vote to allow that we would adopt this if somebody moves, and if you're willing to adopt it today, so that that option is available at future meetings. And it's in your materials. I don't know if everybody has had a chance to see that. It's on the left side. I pretty much went over the requirements with you. Yes, anybody have a question?
I would move to adopt the proposed policy with one correction under meeting limitations, sentence 2. I think there's just a typo. Purposes of establishing a quorum and may vote at the meeting instead of my vote at the meeting.
Yes.
I second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussions on the proposed policy? Sir, someone like to call for the question, vote? Question, do you have a question, or just a motion to proceed to vote? All those in favor of adopting the proposed policy, raise your right hand, or otherwise let me know you're happy.
I have One more,
Oh.
I didn't catch it, but somebody else caught it, but apparently I'm the person who's supposed to say what the corrections may be needed. Sorry. There are, sorry, that's my motion. Oh, I do not know Robert's rules.
We'll fix it.
There are 2 twos, so meeting limitations is paragraph 1, meeting minutes is
Oh, we'll
paragraph
fix
2,
it.
and
Yeah.
then meeting limit should be 3, 4.
Yep, we got it.
Thank you.
We tried to bury the requirement that everybody wears a tutu to the meetings, tutu also, but, so we have a motion and we have a second, and we have now a second correction. So is that everybody's fine with the friendly amendment to those emotions, just those motions so that we sort of make everybody happy? But thank you. Any other catches? 3 3s, 4 4s?
I don't have a catch, but just a clarification.
Yes.
So in person for work groups as well. And I know at least from my first glance of the data work group, there are many people not present here that are invited. It's a fairly large group. So we need 50% in person, I guess, just to make sure that the communication is very clear to those work group members that we really need them to be active, participating in person. Just make sure that communication happens.
Are you of the opinion that our work groups have to have, and so what one thing we'll do is we'll need to identify, we'll land on who's in the work group. There may be people that are visiting, right? So we're not counting someone that's not on the work group and then all of a sudden diluting or making it more difficult, but yes.
I would just say, if you form sub-work groups, for example, if you've got, 3 subgroups that are working on different components, if it's at that level, they would not have to comply with the public access requirements, but the full work group meeting will. And our staff will work with you on that, and I'm making sure we follow the requirements and let you know if we don't have to follow them.
Wonderful.
Worst case scenario, we'll make sure you're in a really nice jail.
Beautiful, beautiful.
You may need that vacation. Well, you're not canning, so you're okay. You're not overwhelmed. Thank you. Great question. Are we now ready? Is everybody comfortable voting? All those in favor of the resolution, raise your right hand, or otherwise smile. All those opposed, frown, pound the tables. Otherwise, it appears to be unanimous, with the exception of one person who's absent. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you for all the effort of you and your team on that. That makes it a little bit easier for some of us going forward. What else would you like to share today?
That is it from my end. Just know we'll be in communication with you about your staff and working with you. We're here to do whatever you need us to do. Like I said, we have all of the staff here dedicated, lots of years of experience here to help you in whatever way we can to move the ball forward and help you with this.
Questions of Leslie? Our next meeting of the Oversight Committee is the second Wednesday in August. We had to arbitrarily, capriciously put these meetings out there because to do some sort of Google Calendar, we would spend the rest of our lives doing that. But you have the ability to join remotely now. Would certainly encourage you to the extent your schedule permits to be here live, but virtually, we'll take you virtually, of course, and we value your input. What's not on the agenda is that everyone that is live at our next meeting or participates via Zoom or whatever the platform will be. I just default to Zoom, sort of like to Windex. I just call it Zoom, no matter what. Everyone will receive a Supreme Court coffee mug, because August will be the last time that I'll have ready access to those. So if you've not gotten one, join us via Zoom or live and we will get you one. I will get you one. And to make, not that you need an incentive, but sometimes you just got to have fun with work. Starting with the next meeting, if you are able to participate live, or via Zoom, it counts the same. And you wish to be in the running for, and we will present this to the winner, or we will draw if you have 100% attendance live or via Zoom in August, October, December, and February. Then if you're the only one, you win, or you're eligible for the drawing. And I know I won't have access to this because I've already bought it and set it aside, is a blue, sometimes I get confused, blue and black, but I believe it's a blue, cool, unisex baseball cap that has the Supreme Court seal on it. Highly coveted some places. Or it may, if you choose to compete and win, it might start some cool conversations, depending on who you are and what you do and where you are. But I just offered that, and Colleen will make sure I will actually show her the baseball cap, and we'll put it aside. One person can make a difference. Look around the room. Together, we can make an incredible difference. I hope my goal is at the end of this, when we hand the product, the deliverables, the plan, maybe the blueprints, maybe the environmental concerns, right? All of that over to the Children's Commission, to our legislative friends, to the courts, to all of whom you report to, that you will smile and say, I was a part of that. I was a part of that. And collectively, when Representative McNamara, Senator Kreider see this, and their colleagues, and the rest of the Children's Commission, and the court, the new and improved Supreme Court, they'll say with a smile, wow, this is amazing work. I hope that's your goal. And again, I remind you, as you leave and as you continue to be involved in this, if you have questions, ask. I would challenge you to consider in the next day or so, if there's an unanswered question from this meeting, after you think about it, to email me. I'll share that with Leslie and her team and Julie. Or if you don't want me to share who you are, but you have a question, trust me, I have that top secret SCI clearance. I'll just say, here's a question, and it won't be attributed to anybody, so that we can collect those questions. And there are no silly questions. If there are, I've already asked them. But we want to make sure you have all the information, your questions are answered. Because if you have a question, something you're not following, something you're concerned about, chances are you're not alone. And the worst mistake we can make in this work is assuming something, right? Because bad things happen when you assume. That's all that I have. I would like to give Representative McNamara and Senator Kreider an opportunity if there's anything they want to say to close us out, and then we'll adjourn, and I'll be around and staff will be around and answer any questions you might have. But, ma'am?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. As we're sitting back here and listening to the discussion and the canning, to me today, I already said it, it's historical, it's monumental, it's making changes. And I hope you recognize the importance and the value that you are to us as legislators, and to the state of Indiana, because I can't do this, we can't do this, we couldn't do this by ourselves. And to see something that I was very passionate about trying to make happen for our kids in Indiana, this is just very surreal. And know that I appreciate your time. I know that time is very, very valuable. and you have about 1,000 other things that are pulling you in 1,000 other directions. And while I was sitting here, I got a text from a judge in Vanderbilt County. He wasn't volunteering to come join the committee, but you know, I sit and I think of all the intricacies of the justice system and the impact that you guys will make for our kids. So thank you very much, and I appreciate all of your work.
Thank you.
Thank you. We moved through the legislative process essentially, I consider, with no votes. There was a no vote in the Senate. Senator Boots, who's my colleague, who we share a legislative assistant, said that he just doesn't like to see bills passed unanimously. It doesn't look good. And I said, really, for this bill? You couldn't? Oh, yes. So it really was not a knock on the bill or the quality of the bill, but it was really just one of those votes. But that happened because of the work that was done by the task force leading up to that. The consensus that was built, the names of the folks that were involved was really important in giving the bill credibility. And so the work that you're going to do will allow us to take that work product and continue to fight. Hopefully we're going to both be around. We have to get elected in order to do this, but hopefully we're going to be around for a while. And this work is important. I remember going with Justice David, Mary Beth Bonaventura to California a few years back. I think that may have been around 2017. We were looking at the JDAI task force and things. And so, as Representative McNamara said, thank you very much for your commitment. We will be able to take this work product and continue to fight in the legislature for changes that will help all the youth in the state. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And those of you that know the Chief Justice know she has many passions. There's not a larger passion than children. Thank you, Representative McNamara. Thank you, Senator Kreider, and thank you to your colleagues for supporting your bill. And we'll have a separate conversation with Senator Boots, I guess, at some point in time. I'll see him tomorrow. Apparently he's on the guest list or indicated his desire to come to my final oral argument in Boone County. So maybe I'll have an opportunity to say, hey, sir, we had that first meeting of the Oversight Committee yesterday. Missed you. No, I wouldn't do that. Give him a hard time. Julie, do you have any logistical issues, anything that I failed to cover that you would like to?
Just to reiterate, there will be a follow-up email with electronic versions of everything that was in the folder, a couple of the links and other things that we mentioned.
Thank you. Leslie?
Yes.
Anything?
I have nothing further.
Anybody have any sinking stomach feeling you want to share? Something missing? Are you okay? We're okay? Good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you. That's me. All right.